The Nexus Dominion survey vessel emerged from quantum space at the edges of Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in impossible patterns. High Commander Vereen approached the holographic display, her iridescent scales shifting from deep purple to azure as she studied the readings. This was supposed to be a routine survey of another primitive system, but something felt different. Preliminary scans complete, High Commander announced First Observer Kex, his neural tendrils pulsing with data streams. Third planet shows significant technological development, but well below Dominion standards. No quantum signatures detected. No faster-than-light capabilities. Classified as pre-contact Level 3 civilization. Vereen's inner eyelids narrowed. Her 2-century career of mapping unexplored systems had taught her to trust her instincts. Show me their orbital infrastructure. The hologram shifted, revealing Earth's space presence. Satellites clustered in various orbits, crude space stations, and what appeared to be early colonization efforts on Luna and Mars. All exactly what one would expect from a species taking its first steps into space. And yet, enhance that sector, she commanded, indicating a seemingly empty region above the night side of Earth. For just a moment, their most sensitive instruments had detected something. A fluctuation in background radiation perhaps, or a ghost in the quantum foam. But when they focused their scans, there was nothing there. Interesting, Vereen murmured. Very interesting. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a facility unknown to 99.9% of Earth's population, Director Sarah Chen watched the alien vessel with quiet intensity. The quantum-masked sensors that humanity had developed after the discovery of the Ross-128 signal were providing a crystal-clear view of the Dominion ship's every move. "They're good," she commented to her team. "That's the closest any scout has come to detecting our quantum shroud. Update the algorithms. We can't risk detection, not when we're so close." 20 years had passed since humanity had intercepted the Ross-128 signal, a transmission that had revealed the existence of the Nexus Dominion and their systematic expansion across the galaxy. The message had been meant for another Dominion vessel, but it had given Earth a priceless advantage. Advance warning. The world's governments had done something unprecedented in human history. They had kept a secret. The public space program continued as expected, with its typical mix of triumphs and setbacks. But behind the scenes, a hidden revolution had taken place. "Status of Project Prometheus?" Chen asked, turning to her chief engineer. Dr. Marcus Wong pulled up a holographic display, showing a massive underground complex beneath the lunar surface. "Final systems check complete. All quantum cores are stable. The entire fleet can be ready in under 6 hours." Chen nodded, pride mixing with apprehension. Humanity had accomplished the impossible, developing technologies that even the Dominion hadn't mastered. They had taken different paths to the stars, choosing to perfect quantum manipulation and consciousness transfer rather than conventional faster-than-light travel. But would it be enough? Back on the Dominion vessel, Vereen was preparing her report. Subject species shows remarkable industrial development, but lacks fundamental understanding of quantum mechanics and consciousness technology. Recommended classification: Potential Protectorate, Grade 3, Standard Integration Protocols advised. In Dominion terminology, integration was a polite word for conquest. Vereen had overseen dozens of such operations. The pattern was always the same: arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate technological superiority, and offer a choice between submission or annihilation. Most species chose submission. "Prepare for return transit," she ordered. "The integration fleet will want this data as soon as possible." As the Dominion ship disappeared into quantum space, Director Chen called an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Council. Representatives from every major nation gathered via quantum-encrypted channels that the Dominion's best sensors couldn't detect. "They took the bait," Chen announced. "Every piece of technology we allowed them to see matched their expectations perfectly. As far as they know, We're just another primitive species ready for conquest. How long do we have? Asked the Russian delegate, his holographic form flickering slightly. Based on previous patterns, 3 months at most. They'll want to move quickly before we can advance any further. Chen's expression hardened. But we're not the helpless civilization they think we are. For 20 years, we've been preparing for this moment. Every war humanity has ever fought has taught us something about survival against superior forces. Every conflict has honed our ability to think creatively, to find weaknesses, to do the unexpected. The Indian delegate spoke up. And Project Prometheus. Ready, Chen confirmed. The Dominion believes consciousness transfer is impossible without their crystal matrix technology. They don't realize we've developed organic quantum processors that are far more efficient. Every ship in our hidden fleet is controlled by human consciousness, able to react at quantum speeds. No AI limitations, no light speed delays. The council members shared knowing looks. Humanity had always excelled at finding unconventional solutions to impossible problems. Now they would show the galaxy just how dangerous that made them. Send word to all hidden facilities, Chen ordered. Begin final preparations. When the Dominion returns, they'll learn what happens when you underestimate humanity. We warned them once, 2 decades ago, when we first intercepted their signal. They should have listened. As the meeting concluded, Chen walked to the observation deck overlooking the vast underground hangar. Rows of ships waited in the darkness, their organic quantum cores pulsing with the consciousness of volunteer pilots. Humanity had chosen a different path to the stars, one born from necessity and innovation. The Dominion wouldn't see them coming. And that was exactly the way humanity wanted it. The integration fleet assembled at the edge of the Arcturus system, its 100 ships forming a pattern that had struck fear into countless civilizations. Fleet Commander Xendril stood on his command deck, reviewing the data from High Commander Varine's survey mission. Such a waste, he muttered, mandibles clicking in disapproval. They've barely established a presence on their neighboring worlds. No quantum shielding, no consciousness matrices, not even basic antimatter containment. He turned to his strategic advisor, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell. Standard conquest formation. Recommended alternative approach. The advisor's thoughts resonated directly in Xendril's mind. Historical analysis suggests this species exhibits unusual aggression patterns when threatened. Shock and awe tactics advised. Maximum display of force to minimize resistance. Xendril's scales rippled with amusement. They fight among themselves with chemical propellants and nuclear fission. What resistance could they possibly offer? 12 kilometers beneath the Martian surface, Admiral James Cooper watched the integration fleet's assembly through quantum-shifted sensors that the Dominion's technology couldn't detect. The massive underground facility, known as Deep Forge Alpha, stretched for hundreds of kilometers through carefully excavated caverns. They're right on schedule, Cooper noted to his executive officer, Commander Maya Patel. How's the final integration testing going? Patel gestured at the rows of sleek vessels suspended in the zero-gravity assembly base. Unlike the crystalline architecture of Dominion ships, humanity's vessels were almost organic in appearance, their hulls composed of quantum-entangled biological alloys that could adapt and heal. All consciousness transfers are stable, she reported. The synthetic quantum cores are performing beyond expectations. Each pilot reports perfect neural synchronization with their ship's systems. Cooper nodded, pride mixing with solemn determination. 20 years ago, when humanity had first detected the Dominion signals, they'd made a crucial decision. Instead of trying to match the aliens' technological path, they'd sought entirely different solutions. The breakthrough had come from an unexpected source: research into human consciousness and quantum biology. While the Dominion had pursued crystalline computing and energy manipulation, humanity had discovered how to transfer human consciousness into organic quantum processors. The result was ships that weren't just piloted by humans. They were humans, their very beings merged with vessels capable of impossible maneuvers. Status of the ghost web? Cooper asked, turning to their quantum communications specialist. Dr. Sarah Chen, daughter of Director Chen and a pioneer in quantum entanglement theory, pulled up a holographic display showing a vast network of seemingly invisible satellites and stations throughout the solar system. The quantum masking field is holding perfectly. As far as the Dominion can tell, we're still launching chemical rockets and struggling with basic ion engines. The ghost web was humanity's masterpiece of deception, a vast array of quantum-shifted facilities and defenses that existed slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. The technology had been developed after years of studying the quantum fluctuations that occurred naturally in human consciousness during near-death experiences. "Show me the Lazarus platforms," Cooper commanded. The hologram shifted to display hundreds of small stations hidden throughout the asteroid belt. Each one contained thousands of quantum-stored human consciousness backups, insurance against the worst-case scenario. Even if Earth itself fell, humanity would survive, ready to be reborn into new bodies or vessels. 6 more hours until all platforms are fully charged, Chen reported. After that, we can sustain continuous consciousness transfers for up to 3 months without recharging. Cooper walked to the observation deck overlooking the main assembly bay. Below, engineers made final adjustments to the organic ships, their forms suggesting predatory sea creatures rather than traditional space vessels. Unlike the Dominion's rigid crystalline technology, these ships could adapt, evolve, and even reproduce given the right conditions. They expect primitives with chemical rockets, Cooper mused. Instead, they'll face ships that think and move like living creatures, piloted by human consciousness operating at quantum speeds. He turned to his staff. Status of the planetary defense grid. Commander Paddle brought up another display showing Earth, Mars, and Luna covered in networks of quantum-shifted weaponry. All phantom arrays are operational. The moment they cross our outer defense line, we can hit them with weapons they can't even detect, let alone defend against. And the backup plan. Dr. Chen's expression turned serious. The consciousness arc is secure. If everything goes wrong, 10 million volunteers are ready for digital transfer. Humanity will survive, even if we have to abandon our bodies and rebuild from scratch. Cooper nodded grimly. The arc was their ultimate insurance, a quantum database containing the digitized consciousness of millions of volunteers, along with the sum total of human knowledge and culture. Even if the Dominion reduced Earth to ash, humanity would endure. They think they're following their standard playbook, Cooper said softly. Arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate their superiority, and offer us the choice between submission or extinction. His lips curved in a slight smile. But humanity has never been good at following other people's rules. We've spent 20 years preparing not just to survive their assault, but to fundamentally change the rules of engagement. As if to emphasize his words, one of the organic ships in the bay below flexed its quantum manipulating arrays, momentarily becoming completely invisible before reappearing. These vessels weren't just weapons platforms. They were the next stage of human evolution, a perfect fusion of biology, technology, and consciousness. Begin final countdown, Cooper ordered. When the integration fleet arrives, we'll show them why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to do the unexpected. They think they're coming to conquer a primitive species. His expression hardened. Instead, they're about to learn why you should never corner a species that turned its own violent history into a crucible for innovation. The silent preparations were complete. Now they just had to wait for the Dominion to make their move. The integration fleet dropped out of quantum space at the edge of the Sol system, their crystalline ships casting prismatic shadows across the void. Fleet Commander Xendril allowed himself a moment of satisfaction as his sensors registered the primitive human vessels scrambling in confusion around their orbital stations. Begin standard intimidation protocol, he ordered. Let them see our full fleet emerge. Fear is our greatest weapon in these situations. His massive flagship, the Eternal Dominance, led the formation as 100 ships materialized in perfect synchronization. The display was meant to crush any thought of resistance before it could form. It had worked on countless worlds before. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, neural tendrils pulsing with confusion. "I'm detecting some unusual quantum fluctuations in the space around us. They appear and vanish too quickly for our instruments to lock onto them." Zendril dismissed the concern with a wave of his scaled hand. "Local space-time distortions. Primitive worlds often have unstable quantum fields. Proceed with the demonstration." The fleet's forward batteries charge, preparing to vaporize one of Earth's small orbital stations, a standard tactic to demonstrate their overwhelming technological superiority. But before they could fire, something unprecedented happened. A voice echoed through their quantum communications network, speaking perfect high dominion, despite humanity's supposed technological limitations. "Nexus Dominion Integration Fleet. This is Admiral James Cooper of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering protected space. This is your only warning. Withdraw immediately." Zendril's scales shifted to deep crimson with rage. "They dare. They think they can threaten us with their primitive technology. Open a channel." "This is Fleet Commander Zendril of the Nexus Dominion. Your species has been classified as a pre-contact Level 3 civilization. You will submit to integration or face immediate." His words cut off as every sensor and scanner on his ship suddenly went dark. When they reactivated a moment later, what they showed was impossible. Where there had been empty space moments before, now hundreds of vessels hung in perfect formation around the integration fleet. But these weren't the crude chemical rockets and ion drives they detected earlier. These ships were unlike anything in the Dominion's database. "Sir," his tactical officer's voice trembled. "These vessels, they're generating quantum fields we've never seen before. Our sensors can't classify their technology. They're not following any known principles of ship design." Cooper's voice came through again, calm and measured. "We intercepted your signals 20 years ago, Commander Zendril. We've had 2 decades to prepare for this moment. The vessels you see around you are just a fraction of our true capabilities. This is your final chance to leave peacefully." In the command center of Deep Forge Alpha, Cooper watched the Dominion fleet through quantum-shifted sensors. Around him, consciousness-merged pilots maintained perfect neural synchronization with their organic ships, the combined human awareness creating patterns of quantum interference that the Dominion's technology couldn't comprehend. "They're charging weapons," Commander Puddle reported, her consciousness simultaneously present in the command center and merged with the defense grid. "Standard Dominion attack formation." Cooper nodded. "Show them Phase 1. Across the solar system, quantum fields shifted. The ghost web activated, revealing layers of defenses that had been invisible moments before. Phantom arrays powered up, their organic quantum processors calculating firing solutions at speeds that made light itself seem sluggish. On the Eternal Dominance, Zendril watched in horror as his sensors detected more and more human ships and stations emerging from quantum shadows. The primitive species they'd come to conquer had somehow masked an entire military infrastructure from their most advanced detection systems. "Impossible," he whispered. "Their technology. It's not following any known progression pattern. These quantum manipulations, they're organic somehow, interactive in ways we never." "Final warning," Cooper's voice cut through his thoughts. "Your crystalline technology is impressive, but predictable. We chose a different path. If you force this confrontation, you will learn why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to survive against overwhelming odds." As if to demonstrate his words, one of the organic ships rippled, its hull seeming to phase in and out of reality before disappearing completely. When it reappeared, it was inside the Dominion fleet's formation, an impossible maneuver that violated every principle of quantum physics as the Dominion understood them. "Sir," Zendril's strategic advisor projected urgently into his mind. "These readings, their ships aren't just machines. They're registering as living consciousness, operating at quantum speeds. They've somehow merged organic neural patterns with quantum processing in ways our science deemed impossible." Cooper's voice came one last time. now tinged with something that made Zendral's ancestral memories stir with primal fear. You came here expecting to find primitives ready for conquest. Instead, you found a species that turned its own violent history into a crucible for innovation. We took paths your civilization never imagined possible. Leave now, or discover firsthand why humanity has survived every extinction-level threat we've ever faced. The organic ships around the Dominion fleet pulsed with quantum energy, their merged human consciousness creating patterns of interference that made reality itself seem to waver. They had not fired a single shot, yet the demonstration of power was undeniable. Zendral felt something he hadn't experienced in his 2 centuries of military service: uncertainty. The species before them had completely bypassed the standard technological progression. Instead of trying to match Dominion technology, they had developed something entirely different, something his civilization's sensors could barely comprehend. "Your warning is acknowledged," he finally responded, scales shifting to the deep blue of strategic withdrawal. "The integration fleet will depart, but the Dominion Council will hear of this." "We're counting on it," Cooper replied. "Spread the word, Commander. Let the galaxy know. Humanity is not to be trifled with. The next fleet that enters our space won't receive a warning." As the integration fleet retreated into quantum space, Cooper turned to his staff. "They'll be back," he said quietly. "And next time, they'll bring everything they have." Commander Patel's holographic form smiled grimly. "Good. Then they can learn the full extent of what humanity can do when we're backed into a corner." The warning had been delivered. Now the real battle would begin. The Dominion Council chamber pulsed with agitation, its crystalline walls reflecting the emotional state of the gathered leaders. High Counselor Zixtal, their most ancient member, reviewed Fleet Commander Xendral's report for the 3rd time. Impossible. The ancient being's thoughts resonated through the chamber. No species has ever developed quantum consciousness integration without first mastering crystalline computing. Their technological progression defies all known patterns. The emergency session had stretched for days as the Council grappled with humanity's impossible capabilities. Zendral stood before them, scales still showing traces of the deep blue of uncertainty. "The humans have developed technology that operates on principles we've never encountered," he reported. "Their ships aren't just vessels. They're living extensions of human consciousness, operating with a level of quantum synchronization that our sensors can barely detect." "Then we will send everything," Zixtal declared. "The combined fleets of all 7 sectors. We cannot allow such an anomalous species to threaten Dominion order." In the depths of Luna's hidden shipyards, Dr. Sarah Chen monitored the quantum echoes of the Council's decision. The Dominion's supposedly unbreakable encryption was no match for human consciousness operating at quantum speeds. "They're mobilizing everything," she reported to Admiral Cooper. 7 sector fleets, over 2,000 ships. They'll arrive within 48 hours. Cooper's holographic form nodded, his consciousness simultaneously present in the lunar facility and merged with the defense grid. "Good. Time to show them why underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake." The next 2 days saw frantic activity throughout the solar system as humanity's true defensive capabilities emerged from quantum shadow. The ghost web expanded, revealing layers of technology that even the first demonstration had kept hidden. Deep beneath Mars, the organic shipyards pulsed with activity. New vessels grew at impossible speeds, their quantum biological matrices shaped by the merged consciousness of their future pilots. Unlike the rigid crystalline technology of the Dominion, these ships could adapt and evolve in real time. "All Lazarus platforms report ready," Commander Patel announced from her station in Deep Forge Alpha. "Consciousness backup protocols are active. Even if they somehow manage to destroy our bodies, humanity will survive." The combined fleets of the Dominion emerged from quantum space like an artificial constellation, their crystalline ships blocking out the stars themselves. High Admiral Vorkath, Supreme Commander of all Dominion military forces, stood on his command deck with absolute confidence. "Begin the attack," he ordered. Show these anomalous humans the full might-off. His words cut off as reality itself seemed to shiver. The quantum space around his fleet erupted with impossible patterns as hundreds of organic human ships phased into existence. But these weren't the same vessels from the first encounter. These had evolved, adapted, become something even stranger. "Sir," his sensor officer's neural tendrils writhed in confusion. "These ships, they're generating quantum fields that are actively rewriting local spacetime. Our weapons can't get a target lock because the space they're occupying keeps shifting between dimensional states." Cooper's voice echoed through their communications network, but this time it seemed to come from everywhere at once, as if space itself was speaking. "We warned you. Humanity has spent its entire history learning to survive against overwhelming odds. Did you think we would stop innovating just because the threat came from the stars?" The organic human ships moved in impossible ways, their consciousness-merged pilots operating at quantum speeds that made the Dominion's crystal-based computers seem primitive in comparison. Where the Dominion had pursued technological progression along a single path, humanity had explored countless alternatives. "Fire," Vorkath ordered, and 2,000 ships launched their most powerful weapons. But the human vessels didn't dodge. Instead, the space around them seemed to fold, the energy weapons passing through volumes where reality itself had been temporarily rewritten. Some of the human ships actually absorbed the attacks, their organic quantum matrices adapting to incorporate the energy patterns. "Impossible," Vorkath whispered. "No technology can." "Not technology," Cooper's voice corrected. "Evolution. Every ship you face is a fusion of human consciousness and quantum biological engineering. We didn't try to copy your crystalline computing. We developed something entirely new. And unlike your ships, ours can learn, adapt, and evolve in real time." As if to demonstrate his words, the organic ships began to change. Their quantum matrices shifted, incorporating the data from the Dominion's attacks to develop new countermeasures. Some vessels merged together, forming larger structures that defied conventional physics. Others split into swarms of smaller craft that moved with perfect synchronized awareness. "Your civilization has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years, Cooper continued. "In that time, you forgot something crucial. The most dangerous innovations come from species that have to fight for survival. Humanity turned its own violent history into a source of strength. Every war we fought taught us to think differently, to find unexpected solutions. The Ghost Web activated its final protocols, and the Dominion fleet found itself surrounded by quantum anomalies that their sensors couldn't even classify. The human ships weren't just fighting. They were actively rewriting the rules of combat itself. Last chance, Cooper warned. Withdraw now, or face the full consequences of underestimating humanity. We didn't develop our technology to match yours. We developed it to transcend it entirely." High Admiral Vorkath watched in horror as his fleet's most powerful weapons proved useless against defenses that operated on principles his civilization had never imagined. The humans weren't just surviving their attacks. They were actively incorporating the energy patterns into their own quantum matrices, growing stronger with each failed assault. The battle that followed would be remembered for millennia as the day the Dominion learned why humanity's greatest strength was not its technology, but its infinite capacity for adaptation. The galaxy was about to change forever, all because one civilization had made the mistake of underestimating a species that had turned survival itself into an art form. 1 year after the Battle of Sol System, representatives from 100 alien civilizations gathered in Earth's quantum-shifted diplomatic center in Geneva. The massive chamber, built using a fusion of human innovation and adapted Dominion technology, hummed with nervous energy as species that had lived under Dominion rule for millennia tried to understand how everything had changed so quickly. High Counselor Zixtal, now serving as the Dominion's chief diplomat rather than its ruler, faced Admiral Cooper across the crystalline conference table. "In 10,000 years of expansion, we never encountered a species that developed along such unexpected paths. Cooper's consciousness was simultaneously present in the chamber and merged with Earth's defense grid, a capability that still unnerved many of the alien delegates. That was your fundamental mistake. You assumed technological progress could only follow one path. Humanity chose to explore all of them. The gathered representatives watched in fascination as a holographic display showed the current state of the Sol system. The organic quantum ships had continued to evolve, some growing into vast living structures that served as hybrid habitats and defense platforms. Others had become microscopic swarms that could reshape matter at the quantum level. The terms of the peace are simple, Cooper continued. The Dominion will maintain its current territories, but the era of forced integration is over. Earth will serve as a neutral meeting ground for all species to share knowledge and innovation, provided they respect our primary rule. No more conquests, Zixtal acknowledged, their crystalline form shifting in what might have been embarrassment. No more forcing species to develop along our predetermined technological path. Dr. Sarah Chen, now heading Earth's Sinological Research Division, activated another holographic display. We've already begun working with several species to help them explore alternative technological paths. The hive mind collective of Proxima Centauri is particularly interested in our consciousness transfer techniques. The display showed various alien civilizations beginning to experiment with hybrid technologies that combine their own unique biological or technological traits with human quantum consciousness principles. Each species was finding its own way to adapt and improve upon the basic concepts. That's the true lesson humanity taught us. A representative of the Silicon Collective spoke up, their crystalline form very different from the Dominion's. Progress doesn't have to follow a single path. The most powerful innovations come from combining different approaches in unexpected ways. Commander Patel, her consciousness split between her physical form and one of the evolved organic ships in orbit, nodded in agreement. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our ability to imagine alternatives, to find unexpected solutions. We turned our greatest weakness, our long history of conflict, into the source of our most powerful innovations. The gathering marked more than just a peace treaty. It represented a fundamental shift in how the galaxy's civilizations viewed technological progress. The Dominion's enforced uniformity was being replaced by an explosion of diversity as each species began exploring paths uniquely suited to their own biology and culture. There are dangers in this new approach, Zixtal warned. Not every experimental technology will prove beneficial. Some may prove catastrophic. That's why we're establishing the Galactic Innovation Council, Cooper explained, a collaborative body where species can share their discoveries and warn of potential dangers. No more conquest, no more forced integration, just voluntary cooperation and exchange of ideas. The organic ships in orbit shifted their quantum matrices in response to Cooper's words, their merged human consciousness creating patterns that the alien representative's sensors interpreted as expressions of agreement. The vessels had evolved far beyond their original design, becoming something that existed as much in quantum possibility as in normal space. And what of the rumors? The Silicon Collective representative asked. That human consciousness-merged ships have begun exploring other dimensions. That you found ways to transfer entire planetary populations into quantum matrices. Cooper smiled. Those aren't rumors. They're the next stage of human innovation. We're not just reaching for the stars anymore. We're reaching for new states of existence itself. And we invite any species that wishes to join us on that journey to do so, at their own pace and in their own way. The gathering concluded with the signing of the Sol Accords, a new framework for galactic civilization based on diversity, voluntary cooperation, and unrestricted innovation. The Dominion's rigid hierarchy was replaced by a flexible network of alliances and partnerships, with Earth serving as a neutral ground where all species could meet and share ideas. As the alien representatives departed, many still struggling to process how completely humanity had changed the galactic order, Cooper stood with his senior staff on the quantum-shifted observation deck overlooking Earth. They still don't fully understand, do they? Chen asked, watching the delegates' ships depart. No, Cooper agreed. They think we won because we developed better technology. They don't realize that technology was just a tool. We won because humanity never stopped asking what if. We won because every time someone said something was impossible, we took it as a challenge. The organic ships in orbit pulsed with quantum energy, their merged human consciousness already exploring possibilities that even their creators hadn't imagined. Humanity had not just changed the galaxy's political order, they had fundamentally altered how civilizations thought about progress itself. What's next? Potil asked, her consciousness rippling through the quantum fields that now connected all human innovation. Cooper's form shifted slightly as he merged more deeply with the defense grid. We keep exploring, keep innovating, keep asking what if. That's what humanity does best. We never stop pushing boundaries, never stop looking for new solutions. He smiled. After all, the galaxy's a big place, and now, thanks to our ability to think differently, every impossibility is just another challenge waiting to be overcome. Above them, the evolved organic ships continued their endless dance through quantum possibilities, a living testament to humanity's greatest strength. The ability to turn adversity into opportunity, to find paths where none existed before. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly how humanity wanted it.